So we decided to head somewhere out of Sri Lanka. We took a ride on a magic carpet way beyond Agrabah to Shawarma. So our next spot, or rather the restaurant that we went to, was called the Arabian Nights. And for those of you who are Aladdin fans, of course what I said should make perfect sense. So shawarma is kind of the name of the place that we went to, but the proper restaurant name is the Arabian Nights. So Arabian Nights, as the name denotes, serves Middle Eastern cuisine, and since we had never tried anything Middle Eastern, we thought, why not go check it out? And since really good Middle Eastern cuisine tastes amazing, we want to see if the Arabian Nights, as in Knights, do deliver on their promise of Mediterranean cuisine that is of great quality and great taste. So that is where we headed to Aladdin's homeland, as it were, and the home of really amazing cuisine. So the Arabian Nights is where we went to. That's where we headed to next, the Arabian Nights of Sri Lanka. So where are the Arabian Nights of Sri Lanka? Okay, so the Arabian Nights restaurants. So their main one is in Kalpiti, and okay, it's on Gaul Road. So funnily, I had noticed this shawarma board several times, and then there's Arabian Nights inside there. So you're just like, wait a minute, shawarma? Okay, yeah, we all know what shawarma is. But the Arabian Nights restaurant is inside this tiny narrow little lane, and it's like on a side somewhere, so you think it's leading to like some office or someplace. So though it's on the main Gaul Road, Kalpiti, opposite McDonald's, it's pretty central. It's Colombo in that sense. Unless you know what shawarma means and the Arabian Nights is written around it, you're really not going to know where to look. So, but it's pretty central, so it's a great place to access. Parking, they have a little bit of parking. So down Gaul Road, off that little board saying shawarma opposite the McDonald's, and on the land side. So just near Valukaram Road actually. So very central, easy to access, not a difficult place to find. And yes, the home of the Arabian Nights. So logo, the Arabian Nights actually has quite a funky logo. If you look at it up close, it's pretty much, you know, that shawarma, where the meat is stacked on that sort of a rolling spit. It's that cut in sort of like a chili shape in the middle, and it says Arabian Nights, and underneath it says Middle Eastern cuisine. So it's quite a cool logo, and it's gold and black, I believe, so sort of like, you know, the land of the black gold. Makes perfect sense. So a nice logo, small but very meaningful, and of course then it explains that shawarma board, so because the key thing is like a shawarma in there. So yeah, so the logo is very nice, very cool, basic in the sense it's not cluttered, so it's clean, and I think that's a pretty funky logo to have. So cool, nice logo. So ambience and atmosphere wise, like I said, it's like going to a land out of Sri Lanka. So the place is very much decorated in the sort of that Moroccan, Middle Eastern, typical Middle Eastern kind of, you know, those arches, the windows shaped in that way. They had like cookeries mounted inside. The lights were kind of like lamps dangling down, and the place was painted like a reddish orange, sort of like that burnt, you know, sort of burnt matte glaze kind of look, which is very kind of like the ancient times. For some reason though, I felt they were trying to achieve one look, but for some reason it came across as being a little cheap. You know, you get those old houses where they painted it like pink, like dark oranges and all, and it has that old feel. Somehow this gave me that vibe. I have no idea why, because I looked closely at the walls, and the atmosphere, I mean, it was trying to give that real Arab vibe. But I guess in terms of the smells and in terms of the lighting, I think they could have done a bit more. I mean, I've been to restaurants in the Middle East, and those have far more, how shall I say it, even the music they were playing was Arabic, but it wasn't really lending in properly. It didn't create that full experience, and I think they can afford to do that. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad attempt. So atmosphere was okay. I mean, and the tables were kind of decently spaced, although there was one corner where everyone was like in one big mishmash. But overall, ambience was nice. They were trying to create an experience, but I think they can improve on it. So it was good, but can be improved. Menu, so my god, their menu was quite extensive. They had everything in there from like, so obviously there's no alcohol here, so it's mocktails. They had signature mocktails, they had drinks, juices, they had starters, cold starters, hot starters, they had mains, grills, shawarmas, submarines, and they had non-Arabic food, which I found very silly, but I mean, it figures. It's Sri Lanka after all. You know, certain things make their way everywhere. So there were things like submarines and Indian stuff like paneer and stuff, and I'm like, and then it goes back into the Arabic kind of dishes. They had a lot of desserts, not a lot, but some desserts. They had kinds of like beverages like the Turkish coffees, chais. They had quite a frigging big menu, and I had a task picking from there. So I mean, I must say it was very good, very extensive, and for a place that's not like a huge high-end restaurant, I mean, hats off to them to have such an extensive menu of a cuisine that's not Sri Lankan. So I was very impressed with the menu and the fact that they had all this on offer. So it was quite a good menu, very broad and has many options for many people. So drinks, like I said, they don't have alcohol, but they do have mocktails. So I decided to start off with a wild wadi. Okay, so what is a wadi? Wadi means valley, technically a valley in Arabic. So a wild valley, and this wild valley consisted of strawberry, lime, blackcurrant, blackberry or blueberry, salt, pepper, lemonade, and it was wild in the sense it's like everything put in there. I don't know where the valley part comes in. It was like red water for me, and the pepper gave it a nice kick, but the berries had floated to the top, and I got the mint, the lime taste very strong, and I felt it was a little watery, like colored lolly water. You're just like, oh, and pepper sounding da-dang, zing, and you're like, whoa, okay, a little kick and whoo, I feel good, and then back again to like, you know, lolly water. So I think that mocktail could be improved. I think it needs to be slightly thicker. Maybe if they had like crushed the berries and given it a little bit more density in terms of its liquid, because otherwise it's like I said, like flavored colored water, and then like, you know, you get fiery bits of pepper firing up your poor nostrils and sinuses. I guess something different and rather wild, but I don't know why the wild valley part comes in, but yeah, wild wadi it was. So the first starter we had was something, one of the cold starters, which is basically hummus. And anyone who knows Middle Eastern cuisine will say like hummus is like a staple, right? So it was hummus with your choice of meat and pine nuts. So I decided to go with minced beef because a really good Mediterranean or Middle Eastern minced beef made really well can taste really good. And this was of course served with saj bread. So I really enjoyed the hummus. It was really nicely done, nice flavor, and incidentally Arabian Night sells their hummus. But for me the olive oil, okay, I've said this before, when you use cheap ingredients you get that cheap taste. It's like people who use mayonnaise that are soybean oil based, which tastes horrendous. So in this case for me the olive oil was not the highest grade, and you could taste it. And the pine nuts, mind you, are very strong. So pine nuts, you had to really balance it out with a flavor of something else, otherwise it can really overpower everything. So that was happening a bit here. The minced beef was nice, but I wish it had more flavor. It lacked like that. It didn't give me enough punch when I enjoyed it. The Saj bread was nice, but I wish it was hot. I mean, it should come like that paper thin. It's like a roti actually, though it's called a bread, right? So don't think of pita bread. This is like this thin roti kind of thing, unleavened bread. So that's why it's called Saj bread. So the Saj bread was nice. Like I said, I wish it was hot, and I wish the meat had more flavor. But the hummus was very good. And as a cold starter, it was a decent start to the day. So definitely a nice option. So I tried a cold starter, so I decided to try a hot starter, and there was something called a cheese sambosek, which said hot pockets, a trio of hot pockets filled with different cheeses, and actually they were like patties, our good old patties, like a puffed patties. And when you bit into it, I mean, this lovely melted cheese came out with herbs, and it was so flavorful. And it came with two dipping sauces, basically a tomato and like a herb garlic mayonnaise kind of. Oh, and they were wonderful. I must say that was a fabulous starter, though. Of course, the dough of the pocket was quite thick, like our patties, you know. So it was a little heavy, but it was very tasty. And it came hot, so it was like really great. So that's like a super awesome starter. I would highly recommend it. Pretty good. So for the mains, I decided to try out one of the grills. It's called Grills Arabic, and I decided to try a mutton kebab because I know it can be really good if it's made really well. And I must say this mutton kebab was really tasty, like nice succulent meat, nicely flavored. It came on a big platter with a rolled Saj bread on the side, some French fries that made its way there, and a sorry looking grilled capsicum. It was like limp. Yes, trust me, it looked like that. Quite bad. I'm like, ugh. And then of course it had chopped parsley with chopped onions. Of course the parsley wasn't finely chopped like it is usually in the tabbouleh, you know, where it's nicely finely chopped with the onion and the just right size, and it gives a nice flavor in your mouth. So this was like, So I must say that mutton kebab was really nice. Nice, soft, but I just wish it was hot. Again, I don't know why the so usually when it's off a grill, like char grill, it just comes off like, you know, steaming hot with the steam coming out, flaming. This wasn't like that. So I think they really need to work on that part of it, but otherwise it was very tasty and it was really nice, really good. The next main we decided to order was the chicken tagine with couscous. Now, those of you who know Mediterranean, Middle Eastern cuisine will know the tagine is a kind of clay pot. It's kind of got like a conish kind of shaped cover, and the food is cooked in there. That's why it's called the tagine. So this was the couscous with like a lovely chicken stew. I must say that chicken was, I mean, it was beautifully flavored, nice taste. I just wish the chicken was a little bit more succulent, but other than for that, it was really nice, like lovely flavors coming through. I could taste like bell pepper and the onion and the sauce, and it complemented the couscous really well. So it was a really good option. But like I said, I just wish the meat was a little bit more succulent, like a little bit more like melt in your mouth kind of thing. But I must say, this chicken tagine with couscous was really good. So overall, it was very tasty. So on a really hungry day and a greedy day, just go and grab that because it was totally worth it. I loved it. It was really nice. Dessert. So I love Middle Eastern desserts and I love baklava, right? I was looking forward to the walnut baklava, and they unfortunately tell me that it's not available. Yes, I want to shoot the guy. So instead, I decided to have a muhalabia, which is like a famous Arabic dessert. So it's basically sweetened milk with rose, scented with rose, and with a little bit of nuts in it. So this came like in like a wine glass, and it was like a milk custard for me. The rose gave it that very perfumed kind of taste, in a way slightly artificial in a sense. I don't know why. I guess that's the nature of the flavoring. So it was like eating a perfumed dessert, like a bit strange. So it was okay. I mean, I wasn't too excited. Like I said, I was looking forward to the baklava. I mean, who has Middle Eastern cuisine without baklava? So anyway, enough of my ranting. So muhalabia it was. And it was a so-so dessert. I mean, it was a little too sweet as well. So unless you have like a saccharine sweet tooth, I wouldn't really recommend it. So it was okay. So-so. So to finish off, I decided to have a Turkish coffee because I've always been fascinated in having Turkish coffee. I know it's very different to how we have it, and it was served in a little ibrik, which is like that little copper saucepan kind of thing, and usually they make it in that and then they pour it out. It's supposed to be very frothy, but this wasn't, and it's spiced with it's spiced with spices, obviously, and I got a very strong cardamom flavor, which is nice, a little strong. I tried to have it plain, which is stupid, so I decided to put in some sugar in there, and with the sugar it was like a nice balance. And it was very strong, very powerful, but I think it's supposed to be more frothy, and that froth wasn't there. And it was served in this little kind of like little cup, like the coffee cup, you know, the Arabic coffee cups. It's like in that. So it's basically, I think you're supposed to shot it, and that's how usually they even have their tea. So it was really nice, and I mean, I would think it was quite a genuine experience. Maybe they're not making it the way they would make it in Turkey, but it was really good, and I enjoyed it very much, so I'm really glad I tried it, and I would totally recommend you try it. Service-wise, I must say the Arabian Nights, or the Nights of the Arabian Nights, were actually quite helpful. So the server, I kind of questioned him a bit. He was sweet, very helpful, giving me tips on things, and I asked him what's this, what's better, and he was recommending stuff. And though they were a little busy, not a little busy, quite busy, I think, I mean, they were servicing Uber Eats. I mean, everyone's ordering on Uber Eats anyway. There were a lot of people in there, though it was like a Monday night. I guess it's popular as a family restaurant, and also for like individuals also to come in. So service-wise, they were good. It's just that we needed to get their attention from time to time. I guess it was, as a busy night, I would excuse it. And they were very helpful, so good job. Price-wise, I must say the Arabian Nights is fully worth it. I mean, it's absolute value for money. With that extensive range of food, and trust me, these are not typical Sri Lankan items. I mean, obviously certain ingredients need to be imported, like the saffrons and things like that, but it was complete value for money. I mean, 3 of us ate for, I mean, very less than like 10,000 bucks, and like in a range of, I would say, 6,000 or 7,000 rupees, and all those dishes, and that was fully worth it. So I would totally recommend Arabian Nights as a place. There is value for money, tasty food. I mean, it's not high-end or pretending to be, but they serve really good food. I mean, fully worth the price. So I completely recommend it. Overall, I must say the Arabian Nights of Colombo fully delivered on their promise. I had a delightful night in shawarma. I'm just joking, but really it was a really good experience. I completely recommend it to anyone who wants to try out some different cuisine, right? In Sri Lanka, we are just eating constantly Sri Lankan, Indian and Chinese, and then we just rotate amongst all those and maybe throw in a bit of Thai. Not everyone tries out Middle Eastern cuisine, and I must say it's extensive. There's so much to try. It's really flavorful and tasty, and the Arabian Nights have this in their menus. Do check it out. You will enjoy your night in Agrabah with an Aladdin type experience. Do join me as we go check out to see what this region has to offer. Of course, not the whole region, but one of those countries. So stay tuned for a delightful excursion in meats, in potato, and in general exuberance. Join me.